Good evening to my subscribers in the Philippines, and good early morning to my subscribers in America. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you watching the videos, your likes, your comments. I never take that for granted. I'm trying to build a channel that's going to be a resource of information for the new man and woman who's never been to the Philippines before, who's contemplating on coming here, maybe on the fence about making a visit, slow vacationing here, or, need I say, retire, because I don't like to use that word retire, because I used to tell people all the time, the Philippines is a good place to come and retire, but the more I thought about it, men don't, when they get here, they don't retire, they rejuvenate. So I said, if you want to retire, you probably want to stay at home. But if you want to rejuvenate, come on over here to the Philippines. We'll help you rejuvenate. And, I've been coming back and forth here for 11 years. Been here 3 years straight. And I'm no expert on the Philippines, okay? And I don't ever want to come off like that. And if I do, I'm missing the mark. I believe there's no such thing as an expert on the Philippines, unless you're actually a Filipino historian, which I'm not. But, my experience here does give me a unique perspective. And I just like to share that with the new man and woman, to help them to avoid a lot of the problems, a lot of the pitfalls and mistakes that I made when I came over here. Okay? I don't know if this is your first time watching me or the 10th time, but I'm boots on the ground here. Okay, I'm right in the middle of all of this, and it's for your benefit. I'm not around the edges like a lot of these vloggers, in these fancy condominiums and Airbnbs, and they look down on the locals and give you a play-by-play. I don't do that. See, I'm going to give you the nitty-gritty, and all the nitty-gritty is I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, what I'm living, and what I'm experiencing. Okay, I'm never going to sugarcoat it for likes, for views, for subscribers, because it's not going to do you any good. Okay, when you come over, I want to give you a true perspective of what you're going to find when you land in Manila or Cebu. And if you find yourself thinking, you know what, Calvin mentioned that, or he warned me about that, then see, I've done my part. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not an expert. I'm not a know-it-all, okay? So today I just want to talk about a couple of things that I think is going to help the new man and woman. It may help some expats because it just all depends. The first thing is the repatriation program, because sometimes, man, I'm going to tell you something. Things go wrong over here, okay, or overseas, no matter where you are. And this is just my humble opinion, man. The U.S. Embassy in the Philippines is one of the best U.S. embassies in the entire world. I mean, if you've ever seen this place, I mean, you're missing out, man. This is a palatial, it reminds me of the White House. I mean, it's something to see. I mean, it's really impressive. And it's a one-stop shop, for the American citizen over here. Whether you're trying to sign up for your Social Security, get your children their U.S. citizenship, get a temporary passport, get your passport renewed, whatever, man, you can go there and get it done. But they've got this repatriation program. It's for people who become destitute when they're over here. And you become destitute for a lot of different reasons over here. It's a plethora of reasons. Some people just outlive their budget. They outspend their budget, rather. Some people are victims of fraud and robbery. Some people, it's their health. But I want the new man and woman to know that if something like that happens to you, you don't have to panic. Especially if your friends and family at home can't help you. The U.S. Embassy has something called the repatriation program. And if you qualify and they deem you eligible, see, they'll give you a loan to get you back home. They'll make all the reservations for you. And they'll usually give you like $100 in spending money, okay? And that's good to know, because a lot of emergencies emergencies can happen anywhere, okay? And how do I know about it? Because I used it before, okay? In 2012, our son was born over here, Gabriel D'Angelo. He was born 2 months premature. She was 7 months when she gave birth. And the one thing about the Philippines is there's no credit, okay? You have to pay your hospital bill before they'll let you go, before they'll unhook the IV, before they'll get you ready. My son was in the incubator. They didn't bring him out of the incubator till I paid the final peso, okay? And I know it seems cold, but it's really not, man. It's just the way they do things over here. And he was in the hospital for 18 days. 16 of those days were in the incubator. She was in the hospital for 6 days, okay? And the bill was like 350,000 pesos altogether. And that doesn't include the medicine and, the Pampers and all the other kind of stuff I had to pay for. And at this time in 2012, I didn't have a passive income, okay? I was over here strictly on my savings only. That's just something else that I'll talk to you about before, but he was born May the 10th, 2012, and I left August the 16th, 2012, so I stayed another 5 months, incurred those expenses, and I was broke. I was calling home, trying to get a loan to my friends and family, because, if I don't do nothing else, I know how to earn money when I get back home. I'm an insurance agent, okay? This is my 18th year, but nobody had anything, so I don't know where I was, but I heard a guy, he was talking about it. I might have seen it on the internet, so, but they were talking about the repatriation loan, so I sent the email, shot an email to the embassy, and they shot it right back, and they had me fill out the form to see if I was eligible. I think you need 3 people that they can contact in your family that says, hey, we can't help him. It's something like that. But anyway, they laid it all out for me. And it's a loan. They don't give you anything. But when I got to Manila, I got to the embassy, they took my passport. They issued me a temporary passport for about a week, to make sure, I'm in transit, that it's good. They made all my reservations, everything for me, gave me a ride to the airport. They did it all, man, and I was so happy because I really didn't know it existed. And that's why I like to tell people, it's nothing to be ashamed about, man. Had my son been born regular, because I've had another son and a daughter born here, man, and their hospital bill, with the hospital bill, the delivery, paying the doctor and everything, it's about 17,000 pesos, okay? It's not even $500, okay? But his, because of his circumstances, and I wasn't going to leave, until every peso I had was gone, to make sure he got out of the hospital and everything was okay. So nothing to be ashamed of. And that's why I'm telling you, I'm not ashamed. I'm glad that I availed those services, because I'd have never known they were available. But it's good to know that. So if you get robbed over here or something like that, okay, you don't have to panic, you don't have to fret. There's help for you, okay? Now the next thing I want to kind of talk to you about, and me and Dan at Vagabond Awaits, he was going to put this on his on the interview that I did, but the Zoom call went out because he said he's having problems with the internet in Mexico. But he asked me, he said, would I suggest an exploratory trip for anybody that's considering rejuvenation over here in the Philippines? And I said, absolutely. I said, because that's really the one thing I didn't do. Yeah, I came over here and I visited, but I didn't do an exploratory trip. I didn't look at certain areas that I wanted to live. I had no idea how I was going to live. I had no budget. I didn't have any of that. So absolutely come over here, because I've got a video that talks about why Americans and Westerners in general cannot make it over here. This is not an easy place to live, okay? It's a beautiful place. It's paradise. But the lifestyle doesn't fit everybody. See, Americans, you know, we're spoiled. And you just have to have a compelling why to make it here. So yeah, that exploratory trip is definitely something you want to do, because remember, the Philippines is very vast, it's very diverse. So you want to find out first, you know, where do I even want to live in the Philippines? Because when people talk about the Philippines, I say, well, which Philippines are you talking about? Are you talking about in Luzon, up by Manila, Subic Bay and all that? Are you talking about Cebu, Iloilo City, you know, all the Visayas, Bacolod City, you know, all the Visayas areas, you know? Are you talking about Mindanao? Which one are you talking about? Okay, what's your budget? You know, how much do you want to spend? What do you like to do? Because it's all here for you. I don't care if you're a hiker, biker, you love to ride your motorcycle, you part of the Lonely Hearts Club, it's here for you, okay? But come over here, get your feet wet, okay? Try some of the foods, you know, try to learn a little bit of the language, because that's the #1 barrier. This language, it's not easy, especially when you get to be our age. It's hard. But that exploratory trip will give you an indication of saying, you know, hey, you know, do I really want to move all the way over there 18 hours and run into a brick wall? Because here's what I've seen. Here's the mistake a lot of us make when we come over here. We'll choose one area that we want to live or stay, right? And if it doesn't work out, we'll go home, not realizing that there's so many places here in the Philippines. You may want to live, you may want to do island living. You may want to live in the city, you know, where a bunch of expats are. So while you're learning the culture, learning the language, you still have somebody that you can communicate with, okay? You may be one of those people who want to move to one of the most isolated places in the Philippines, okay? Away from all the tourists, away from the expats, you know, because a lot of times we get tired of each other. That's why we came over here. Okay, does your lifestyle require fast internet? If it does, then you may want to move to Manila or Cebu, because the internet that they offer there is a lot faster, and you have a lot more choices than what's in San Carlos. Okay, but come over here, get your feet wet, find out is the Philippines for you. If it is, I'm gonna tell you, like it is for me, it's utopia. But if it's not, man, you're gonna go home crying. You know, you're gonna be like, man, I wasted my time. What did I do? What did I even go over there for? Okay. So before you quit your job, before you divorce your wife, and all the crazy stuff we do when we run over here, before you empty out your bank account, come over here for a few weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and kind of just get lost over here. Ask a lot of questions, and decide, is this really what I want? Okay? Because remember, one of the best things about the Philippines is the ease of coming here now. It's not hard to get here, and it's not hard to go home. So, hey, if you come over here and you don't like it, hey, big deal. You can just get back on the big bird and go back home. Okay? But before you know, cut all the ties and everything at home, come over here first for a few weeks, okay? And I hope that helped. You know, like I said, I'm not an expert. I just try to share my insight and perspective, so when you get off the plane, you know, you have a, you know, just to make your trip a little bit more smoother, a little bit more enjoyable. Does that make sense? Thank you so much. If I come off as an expert, I know it, I apologize, man. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be helpful. Okay? So if you're watching in America, you're watching in the Philippines, if you haven't helped anybody today, please help somebody, man. Before you lay your head down on that pillow tonight, help somebody, because if I don't know nothing else, I know this. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Thank you.